Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which takes place every October and now in its 19th year, is a collaboration between government and private industry to raise awareness about digital security and empower everyone to protect their personal data from digital forms of crime. Joining me to discuss innovation that is moving the needle to solve cybersecurity challenges is Barmak Meftah. He's a founding partner of Ballistic Ventures and has more than 25 years of experience in enterprise software and security. As general partner at Ballistic, Barmak mentors and guides startup CEOs through the complexities and challenges of building great teams and great companies. I'm also joined by Nikhil Gupta. He's the CEO and co-founder of ArmorCode. Is also a serial entrepreneur, cybersecurity expert, and again, the founder and CEO of ArmorCode, which has built an award-winning AppSecOps platform and used by organizations ranging from cloud native, new generation companies to some of the biggest brands in media, entertainment, hospitality, and several other brands. It is great to have you both with us today on Trade Talks. And Barmak, I'd like to start with you. You have a substantial background as security leader and operator. You led Alien Vault, which was acquired by AT&T Cybersecurity, and you went on to lead AT&T's security group as its president, also the chief product officer of Fortify Software, which was acquired by HP. With all that said, can you share the biggest trends that you're seeing in cybersecurity today?
Of course, yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Jill. Really appreciate it. One of the great things about cybersecurity that we love is it's an ever-evolving space. There's the adversaries that constantly innovate new threat vectors, and we have to predict the adversaries' innovation and be on the forefront of what they're thinking. So these themes change all the time. Every 2.5 years, 3 years, there's going to be a new theme that emerges. The three themes that we like quite a bit. One, with the pandemic, the acceleration to the cloud is exponentially growing. So everybody's working from home right now, and it's kind of a split space between work, home, and obviously being in the office. And so the IT assets have to move to the cloud in a very accelerated way. And so the attack surface is evolving. So any innovation or any company that deals with protecting the attack surface and these threat vectors as the architecture and the topography of how we work changes is really interesting. And we expect that to obviously evolve more. There's an area of zero trust that kind of began, I would say, probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And the idea behind zero trust is you sort of have to assume that your IT assets have been compromised already because it's just a matter of time before it happens. And so the key question becomes, how do you deal with these breaches, assuming that the compromise has already happened? And this area of zero trust, zero authority, as it pertains to the various layers of IT assets is really, really interesting. And then the third is this kind of ever-evolving shift left. And so, when we started Fortify back in 2003, we had a hypothesis that the assets that we develop, specifically applications, have to have security built into it. And we're seeing more and more the evolution of developers and engineers adopting security organically, which is really awesome because security has always been thought of as an aftermath, where the assets are already developed and we try to protect these assets, after the fact. And so we're seeing a big trend where developers are organically adopting security, and we call this shift left, more into the security development life cycle. And that's where companies like ArmorCode and other companies that deal with AppSecOps and application security are really, really interesting. Those three themes are very, very interesting, but I bet, Jill, if you ask me 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, what are the themes? Those themes are going to change, and that's what's awesome about our space.
Yeah, I would agree. The pace of acceleration of these tech trends that we got to experience in real time with the pandemic really are quite remarkable. And since we're joined by application security company CEO Nikhil Gupta, Nikhil, what application security trends are you seeing?
So thanks, Barmak, for sharing that insights over there. One of the big theme which I'm seeing here is that more and more awareness is happening. And as a result, many more tools like Fortify's, like what Barmak had founded, and many more tools are being used. But the big challenge that a lot of large companies are seeing is that there is a plethora of tools which are out there. Just to secure one application, you need over a dozen tools: SCSS, SAST, IST, pen testing, bug bounty, and all, right? And so as a result, what happens is that's a very big pain on the engineering team, security team, to how do I assess it? How do I manage it? How do I monitor it, right? So, and the organization don't even know how many applications they have, let alone their security posture. So one of the trend which we saw, and again, as an entrepreneur, I'll be a little bit biased over here. That's one of the reason I took this particular space, was a team called application security operations, where the platforms companies, where they are coming in, they're ingesting all the findings from various tools. They are normalizing, deduplicating, and correlating, because for one application security engineer, there are 100 developers, right? And it's very challenging today to find and hire application security engineers. So that's where basically companies like AppSecOps and in AppSecOps space like ArmorCode are coming in, which are kind of ingesting, giving a security posture. Not only security posture, second thing is you also need to automate a lot of things which are happening. And as Barmak mentioned, that the whole movement of moving security to the left, you also need to connect it with DevSecOps. So historically, what you would find here is that the companies would used to have like a vulnerability management as one parallel theme. They'll have application security as second, and then the third thing is DevSecOps. Now, what we are finding out here is all of these things are combining these initiatives into one single initiative, and that is what is being called as a AppSecOps.
And Barmak, why Ballistic Ventures? Where do you think the big innovations are happening that are going to move the needle on solving some of the biggest cybersecurity challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at our team, it's essentially a team of cyber operators and investors that have come together to create our fund. And it's an area in technology that we felt strongly that specialization of skill is going to be really, really important. So in general, what you find in venture capital is, venture capital funds do a variety of investments. There's only 2 or 3 areas that I would say going deep into specific areas is going to have a huge advantage. Cyber is definitely one. And part of the reason behind it is, as I mentioned, the adversaries are forcing the obsolescence of a lot of old security controls that have already been in place by the fact that they constantly innovate. Secondarily, every 8 to 10 years, we go through these architectural shifts. If you look at about 30, 40 years ago, we went from mainframes to mini computers, from mini computers to open systems, from open systems to the advent of web and the internet. And with each of these architectural shifts, the attack surface exponentially opens up. So you sort of have this, unfortunate equation where you have more adversaries, constant innovation, and you have a bigger and bigger attack surface and an open attack surface, which then results in what you see every day, more and more of these threat vectors happening. And so if you're not deep and in the forefront of these cyber trends, it's going to be really easy to miss these very important themes to invest in. And so we felt having that specialization labor and going deep in cybersecurity is going to be really important. And that's why we started the fund. And our fund's focus is primarily helping entrepreneurs as former operators get companies off the ground. We're very focused on the early stages of investing. We love getting companies off the ground, finding product market fit, and helping entrepreneurs scale these companies. And again, having a team of cyber operators on the other side of the table from an entrepreneur, we think is going to be very advantageous.
Nikhil, we both spoke in May this year about the trends in cybersecurity and why you started ArmorCode and the Purple Book community to solve the big challenges facing the application security space. Tell us what developments you have seen since then that have shaped the application security space and what new innovations you think will impact that space in a big way.
Yeah, I think so. The things is, as Barmak mentioned, things are moving very fast. And the number one thing which has happened in the past 6 months is that awareness has happened. Right. So when I started this company a couple of years ago, people were there like, okay, what is the need for application security, or the problem has been solved? And we had SolarWinds last couple of years ago, then we have Log4j. And as winter is coming, people are asking what will come and not if any issue will happen. So as a result of the awareness, and the good news which has happened is people have learned from their lessons, because what was happening in the past was when people were not aware and a new big zero-day attack would happen, then they will drop everything and spend like 2-3 months, if you will, just to try to identify which things have been impacted and all. And this is where the application security operations is coming. And what we are seeing is a tremendous traction. And we doubled our revenue quarter over quarter very recently. And the reason for that is that people are finding out that instead of spending 3 months in doing something, hey, if a platform like ArmorCode can do it in 3 days, it's worthwhile doing that. So overall awareness has kind of tremendously happening, and it's all about education and knowing. And thanks for covering companies like ours at the in this particular cybersecurity month.
Yeah, and Nikhil and Barmak, we really appreciate you joining us both for such an important month for all of our viewers as well. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.